This is KGW News at 11.
A small Oregon town cheering on a big competitor in the Olympics tonight. I'm sure you watched with us and his family as Hood River native Sean Fitzsimons competed in the snowboard slopestyle final a couple of hours ago in Beijing. He did not medal, but he did make his family and friends very proud. They gathered at a private event at Tilly Jane's Bar and Grill in Hood River for the second night in a row after watching his qualifying round last night. This is Fitzsimons' first Olympic Games. He's 21 years old. Here's what his parents told us after his last run.
Disappointed he wasn't able to land a run because I know he'll be disappointed, but I think he's happy to have been in the Olympics and have had this experience, make it to finals.
Really super proud of him for just all the hard work he's put in and how far he's come. And yeah, I'm glad that he's not hurt, and he's going to be sore, I think, but he definitely did his best, and we're very proud of him.
Well said, Mom and Dad. We're all proud of him. He's represented Oregon very well. The good news, Fitzsimons Olympics not over yet. His next event is a week from tomorrow in the Big Air competition. Now to an update on the climber who fell into a volcanic pit on Mount Hood last month. He's now back home in Idaho, recovering from his injuries. George Stevens climbed the mountain with two friends on January 27th. They decided to snowboard on their way down, which is when Stevens fell into that open fumarole below the Hog's Back. It took 20 rescuers and special equipment to get him out. We spoke to his cousin today, who says despite a bunch of broken bones, he's in good spirits.
He's still totally upbeat, just funny, just, nice. He's awesome. So you wouldn't know at all that he's been going through this horribly traumatic thing that could have killed him easily. It's kind of incredible that it didn't. It's a miracle, but he's got an incredible attitude, and he's ready to be better already.
He is lucky indeed. That's a very dangerous place. She said he still has a long road to recovery. Stevens does not have health insurance, so his family set up a GoFundMe to help pay for his medical expenses. Now to Portland's ongoing gun violence. A family is sharing more about their loved one who was shot and killed in southeast Portland. 35-year-old Jeff Ramirez was one of two people shot in the area of Southeast Stark Street and 119th Avenue last Wednesday. His family says he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
It was his mother's birthday, and he's probably just out running errands. I mean, he was just a wonderful person. I mean, everybody that knew him, he is gonna be completely missed.
You can feel the heartache there. Ramirez worked as a medical assistant before recently getting hired at OHSU. He lived at home and took care of his parents. A GoFundMe has also been started to help support this family. Portland police say the second victim in Wednesday's shooting is still in the hospital and the case still under investigation. And a popular bar and restaurant in Northeast Portland faces months of repairs after an SUV slammed into the front wall of the Capitol Bar. It caused a lot of damage. That now means a lot of people are out of work for a while. But the owners don't want to lose them. Galen Etland shares what their plan is to keep the Capitol Bar family together.
Most weekends, Capitol Bar in Northeast Portland is alive.
Just showing love and having a good time.
But co-owners Desiree Guy and Kevin McDowell say they're out of commission for a while.
It's been an interesting journey as a new business owner.
Just before 5 o'clock Saturday morning, police say an SUV hit another car on Northeast 15th and Broadway, then ricocheted into the front entrance of Capitol Bar. The moment was caught on surveillance.
Just see the impact of the glass and how it was hit.
Adding insult to injury, video then shows someone crawling through the broken window, stealing bottles behind the bar, and running out. For now, there isn't much information confirmed about what caused the crash nor who was involved. Portland police told KGW they could not respond until about 5 hours later because of other calls. But no one was reported hurt, and Capitol Bar is thankful no one was inside.
We could have been in business and someone else could have been hurt.
Correct. From the inside, the owners say a support beam is now holding up part of the building. The bar is now closed and repairs could take months.
It's going to be a pretty huge project.
Insurance will likely cover damage, but not loss of business. So Kevin and Desiree started a GoFundMe for their staff who can't work.
Our cooks, everybody relies on the wages for their families and everything.
As the couple plans ahead, shards of glass remain on the floor, a reminder of obstacles overcome.
I'm very proud to say that it's women-owned, Black-owned.
And with thousands of dollars pouring in, it's a bigger reminder of community.
We love the people that come here.
And hope to bring the music and life back soon. Galen Etlin, KGW News.
We look forward to them getting back on their feet. Now let's turn to meteorologist Joe Ranieri. Joe, it was a really super morning, but it sure turned into a beautiful afternoon.
Man, we warmed up really quick. A lot of us woke up to temperatures just below freezing or at that freezing mark. And then by the afternoon, look at this, Pat. We saw daytime highs getting very close, inching very close to 60 degrees. You saw 60 degrees, though, along the Oregon coastline, but still throughout much of the metro area, you definitely saw above average temperatures just a few hours ago. Down in McMinnville, you saw a decent amount of fog, so you didn't get a chance to warm up a whole lot, but not to worry, we're still going to be seeing some warmer conditions heading into the later part of this week. But as we look at the satellite and radar, all is very quiet on this Sunday night, and all is going to be quiet basically heading into Monday. This is a weak disturbance I'm going to be expecting to see arrive after midnight, so expect to see some light showers at times, mainly throughout the morning hours, but again, rainfall amounts are going to be extremely light. Right now, we're looking at a temperature of 40 degrees, and if you're wondering, what do we expect to see usually in February? Well, we usually kind of could see the potential for some decent amount of snow. That's what we've seen over the last couple of Februaries, although no evidence is pointing to that. Snowfall on average is about 1.4 to 1.6 inches. Last February, Pat, it was the snowiest on record, or I should say second snowiest on record, with over 10 inches of snow, of course, that falling on Valentine's Day weekend. This year, it's looking like we'll be seeing some warmer conditions than that. I'll talk more about that in detail in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Joe. My son's birthday is on February 12th, so last year we definitely knew about the snow and the ice storm when it hit. Now, let's move on to the pandemic. Researchers at Oregon Health and Sciences University predict today was the peak for COVID hospitalizations in Oregon, and they expect the numbers to start falling sharply in the coming weeks. That's good news. I don't have the statewide numbers tonight because the state health authority doesn't update them over the weekend. Some of you have asked how COVID's hospitalizations in general compare to the worst flu years in recent years. Well, it's taken a bit of digging, but there is no clear report that answers the question. But I do think that we've now pieced it together with the help of Dr. Jennifer Vines from the Public Health Officer at Multnomah County. Here's a spoiler alert. COVID is indeed worse, but I think the comparison will surprise you.
Let's start with what we know about flu cases. Remember when that was the virus we all needed to get shots for each winter? Well, the Oregon Health Authority has a report that tracks the number of people hospitalized because of the flu each year, but only for Washington, Multnomah, and Clackamas counties. The hospitalization report is called Flu Bites. That name probably has multiple meanings, but, well, that's probably for another story. The reports have all kinds of graphs, and by the way, the flu season runs October through September, so we'll say a couple years here when we're talking about just one season. The worst season in recent memory was 2017-2018. The Flu Bites report shows that in that year, the worst 2 weeks had about 210 people hospitalized with the flu each week. Multnomah County Public Health Officer Dr. Jennifer Vines remembers it well.
And I can remember the 2017-2018 year, I think it was a particularly challenging year because we pushed just over 200 for a couple of weeks in the Portland metro area. And that was the closest in recent memory that I can recall even contemplating some of the hospital surge plans that are now routine.
So remember, one of the worst flu seasons put about 210 people in the hospital during the worst week or two. And now let's look at COVID. You've probably seen this chart showing statewide hospitalizations. The far right is the most recent Omicron surge, and as of February 4th, it was up over 1,000 people, and hopefully on the way down. The record for hospitalizations so far is back to the left on our graph in September, with 1,178 patients. But remember, that's statewide and involves all the hospitals in Oregon. Since we want to compare apples to apples, let's look at COVID hospitalizations for the same 3 counties where the flu is tracked. This COVID dashboard is put together by Multnomah County. The line reaching highest on the graph totals 371 COVID patients hospitalized for the week of January 16th. So comparing the flu of 2017-2018 with 210 patients to COVID with 371 patients, COVID is definitely hitting hospitals harder. It also keeps patients hospitalized longer than the flu.
I hear you saying 2 main differences. 1, it goes on for so long, and 2, the numbers actually get much higher.
Yeah, I think it's both. And Omicron is a little bit different because we can parse hospitalized with COVID versus hospitalized for COVID, because Omicron spreads so easily and is so common right now in the population. But I think even being hospitalized with COVID, there is still a lot of infection control procedures, a lot of extra work, frankly, for hospitals to protect their workers, to protect other patients. So I think it does reflect the workload.